Hello there! I have been itching to perhaps create another series of a weapon set because I've recently finished one and I'm still getting others done as well at the same time, so I wanted to sneak this in because this entire weapon set is actually one of the most insane and possibly the top strongest weapon sets out there in the game, so I might as well cover this whenever the spy llamas come around here and there. So I think it would be best I cover them whenever I can, even if I'm in a tight schedule. So I want to have a good start on the Spec Ops weapon set, which is basically the spy weapons that you've all been hinged on because of how powerful some of its weapons are, including the pepper sprayer and the pot shot. What other opportunities should I take? It's obviously this one. Anyway, the first weapon of the set when you open the collection book on this category is a semi-auto assault rifle. A really strong one, very accurate, and very high base damage. That one is called the Grunt. This Grunt is crowned to be the #1 highest base damage out of all assault rifles in the game, hands down, with really good reasons too. It has a base damage of 89. No other assault rifle could outrival the Grunt. Not even the mythic assault rifle, the Storm King's Scourge, is that close to compete that, but that doesn't mean it's that weak of some sort. A good reason behind the Grunt having a superbly high base damage is because it is semi-automatic. It has a very low magazine clip that would cause you to reload a lot, whether you have a mag size perk or not, but it has a good standard range and fire rate as well. Speaking about perks for this assault rifle, it is super easy to have a decent build for the Grunt because of how inclusive the perks can be for such a powerful weapon. You can pretty much pull off a full damage build out of it, or a headshot build if you are that kind of a marksman person. Even for a casual player, they can really enjoy a great weapon like this one. As you can see here, I already have my copy of the Grunt completely supercharged. I've already had a few people questioning why I have this supercharged. I crafted a few of these and told them to try it in a 160 mission, and they actually liked it, in which case is the reason why I kind of wanted to make this video for the rest of you. So yeah, of course, we want to have this sunbeam for the maximum damage output possible. I've built this a complete crit build with double crit damage, 1 critical rating, reload speed, and affliction as our 6th perk. This Grunt can be at any element. I have mine on energy element, of course. I have the resources to change whatever element I want to have on this copy, so I don't have to spend too much reperks in supercharging another copy for just having it with a different element. Maybe a different build, but that's a whole another story. But the good thing about this weapon, it can have 5 different elements, unlike the black metal and art deco weapons where you can only have 2 to 3 elements available. Moving on to the main perks, since this is a type of an accuracy weapon, double headshot damage perks on these 2 perk slots is definitely reasonable and a good option, even though the Grunt only has a 0.5 headshot multiplier. Adding 1 or 2 of these perks can make a huge difference. The reason why this thing has a low headshot multiplier is because its base damage is already high enough to deal such damage, so if you want to buff that one up, you're free to perk up the headshot damage on those. Magazine size perk is also an option, by the way, if you feel like 8 rounds of 1 clip is not enough, or you don't feel like wanting to reload a lot and just shoot more. You can possibly have up to 3 magazine size on the Grunt. Not sure why they want to make that possible, but that is all up to how you want your Grunt copy to perform for your playstyle. Fire rate is also a good perk for this too. If you do have that trigger finger to be able to tap faster than what the Grunt can currently shoot, it also helps increase the damage per second as well, but it affects losing the overall damage output by a noticeable amount. But to be fair, it won't hurt too much as long as you're shooting a lot. And now for the 6th perk, you have multiple options, and it's actually a lot. But I can make this a little short instead of explaining too much details on every single 6th perk available for the Grunt. So the current copy I have right now has the Affliction 6th perk, a status effect that damages the applied husks over time. There is 2 6th perk that have the same method with different buffs. Standing for 2 seconds without moving at all would either grant you the 11% overall damage or the 17% damage to miss monsters. If your playstyle or strategy is playing missions out safe, one of these 6 perks would do great for you. If you want to increase your overall damage with your crits and base damage, you can go for the 11% damage, or if you want to focus completely on miss monsters like smashers and flingers, for example, the 17% damage damage to miss monsters would do really well. Another 6 perk does the same thing with standing in position, but restores 10% of your shield to max. Well, that works if you are not using Blast from the Past team perk loadout, that is. It may not be the least used 6 perk, but perhaps if you are using a pretty squishy loadout or you rely a lot on your shields much, the shielding 6 perk wouldn't be too bad unless you want to play aggressively. And the last one is the 30% snare 6 perk, in which the snare status effect reduces a small amount of movement speed of husks. That should be all for the Grunt's available perks. Very comprehensive perking and easy, really powerful assault rifle too, so you would definitely have a good time perking this whenever you get the schematic from the spy llamas or by researching with Flux. So the build for the Grunt that I was using in the 160 missions is a full crit build, and so as the loadout that I have been using is also gonna be focused much on getting as many big critical hits as possible. I have Tactical Assault Sledgehammer on Commander Lead for this loadout. Totally rocking out is of course our team perk here for the crit rating and heals. Battle Beat and Subwoofers activates it. I usually have Fumble most of the time when I use this Tiaro team perk because of the RNG when killing husks, but since I am using a semi-auto weapon, I want to guarantee getting the Rocking Rift buff to activate before and during combat. Assault damage perk for the 17% increase for assault and SMG overall damage, locked and reloaded because we are going to be reloading a lot with this one. And the last support is pretty much a utility support perk. I have mine on Survivalist because I still don't trust how much and how big you can heal with the Totally Rocking Out team perk. I would probably have Bomb Suit slip in there because of how squishy this build can be, having added armor and stuff, but even then I'd rather keep myself having as much health to survive multiple hits. And that should be about it for overviewing the Grunt Assault Rifle. It's a really strong and a fun weapon, and like, if you ever get a schematic of this one, you may not want to skip on this gun, especially if it's in one of your spy llamas. I really enjoyed using this in the high level zones. It is very accurate. It may not be able to have an ability to clear out crowds of husks, but it does its best performance on single targets with high health points, hence the reason why I supercharged it. If you consider researching the schematic, I'd say it's worth a shot. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, take care of yourself, and love yourself.